Well, them is his titles. It's all respect. Like I told everybody for a long time. I'm like, man, me and Canelo. I got a ton of respect for Canelo. I'm a fan of Canelo. I've always been a fan of Canelo, and I wanted to be the one to give him back his belts. I didn't want my team hand him back his belts. I wanted to be the one that give him back his belts.
The only thing I told him was that you could not give Canelo the center of the ring. And earlier you gave it to him, but then you started outboxing and outsmarting him with it, and he started taking it back at the right time. So he studied the film very well. He knew when to fight, when to move left, and when to move right. It was a very smart fight. He completely frustrated Canelo.
Wonders if Crawford was born and made in a laboratory, in a test tube, because that was science. That was pure science. No two ways.
The arena just witnessed a night that will be remembered for years to come as Terence Crawford delivered a performance that stunned the boxing world, defeating and dethroning Canelo in a showdown many believed was impossible. The atmosphere was electric, with fans in disbelief, analysts scrambling to react, and legends of the sport admitting they had not expected such a result. This was more than an upset. It felt like the beginning of a new era in boxing. In the midst of the chaos, Crawford's father stepped forward and spoke with quiet certainty, saying, "I knew my son was that good." His words were not of shock but of conviction, carrying the weight of long nights in the gym, years of sacrifice, and the unwavering faith only a father could have. That single statement reminded everyone that greatness is never sudden. It is built slowly, with discipline and belief. Just when the dust seemed ready to settle, Roy Jones Jr. added his thoughts, and his voice carried the authority of a legend who has lived inside the ring and recognizes true greatness the moment he sees it.
Yeah, brother, he's gonna be up there somewhere close to the top 5, I promise.
The statement was far from casual. It felt like a seal of approval from one of the greatest boxing minds alive, Roy Jones Jr., whose words instantly gave Crawford's even more weight and significance. This wasn't just hype or empty praise. It was genuine recognition, the kind that carries authority and lingers in the history of the sport for generations. In that moment, Crawford's triumph elevated beyond a simple victory. It became a measuring stick against the very best to ever step into the ring. The debate quickly shifted, with fans and analysts alike questioning where he should now be placed among the sport's true immortals, a discussion reserved only for legends. Adding to this growing wave of acknowledgement came the words of veteran analyst Gareth A. Davies, a voice long respected for his sharp breakdowns and deep insight into boxing. His reaction blended awe with authority, perfectly capturing
much bigger, almost three weight divisions above him, but the majesty and poise of Terence Crawford's brilliance tonight was to the fore. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I can just about see 8 rounds to 4, the 16-12 score. I cannot see 7 rounds to 5 from 2 of the judges. Terence Crawford tonight, at speed of thought, speed of hands, speed of feet, took it to Canelo when he had to. Canelo had no answers to him. For me, Terence Crawford moves up to the number 1 pound for pound spot in the sport right now, above Naoya Inoue, above Alexander Usyk. He is incredible. To become historically a 3-weight undisputed world champion, it just beggars belief what he's managed to do. He was immense tonight. He took it with humility. There was a little bit of emotion afterwards, but from first to last, I have to say it, Canelo did not have the answers for him. So let's take nothing away from Crawford. It was all of his doing.
Oh, absolutely.
He was the one that made Canelo look older, slower, and without the right.
This was not mere praise. It was a technical judgment delivered with accuracy. Each remark highlighted Crawford's dominance and his brilliance in every stage of the bout. From an experience perspective, it wasn't exaggeration but fact, drawn directly from what happened ringside. The assessment framed Crawford's showing not as an upset, but as a true masterpiece. At that moment, his position at the peak of boxing felt unquestionable. Then came Adam Catterall, breaking everything down with sharp analysis. His view carried less emotion and more truth, explaining in detail how Crawford dismantled a champion step by step.
Schooled him. He schooled him from start to finish. Listen, it was cagey at the start, don't get me wrong. There was a little bit of nip and tuck. There was a little bit of downloading the data, seeing what the situation is. Interesting that for the full 12 rounds, he only boxed in southpaw. No switch hitting tonight, stayed in southpaw. A little bit of downloading of the data, and then just gradually went through the gears up to round 4, and that's when he started to put his foot down. Everything Canelo did tonight, Bud Crawford had an answer.
Every remark underscored the command Crawford maintained from the opening bell to the final moments. It wasn't only about taking rounds. It was about shaping the entire narrative of the fight. Adam's analysis revealed just how flawless the display truly was. No weakness uncovered, no questions left behind. It was a masterclass in every sense, one that elevated Crawford's legacy even further. Adam didn't end his thoughts there. He went deeper, highlighting the details that made this night unforgettable. His words carried the fresh intensity of someone who had just witnessed history unfold.
Only that, if you go back and watch the previews that we did throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards. He was able to do it forwards. He could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound-for-pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas.
This wasn't play that stretched the boundaries of what boxing can represent. The way Crawford adjusted, responded, and dictated every moment was portrayed as a living masterpiece. Adam's take conveyed the feeling that we had witnessed something rare, something unforgettable, a fight destined to be remembered as one of the finest demonstrations of skill. He then broadened the view, focusing on the larger story of Crawford's rise. That perspective made the victory feel even more massive considering the jump in weight.
Jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound-for-pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him. Mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world. He needs all the praise in the world. And I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound-for-pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top.
He reminded the audience of Crawford's move up in weight, the heavy odds stacked against him, and the fact that it all happened on boxing's brightest stage. This wasn't only about defeating Canelo, it was about overturning everything that should have stood in the way. Adam's remarks presented Crawford as more than just the victor. They cast him as a history maker. That perspective sealed the triumph as one of the sport's greatest achievements, deserving every bit of praise and recognition. Then came Paulie Malignaggi, beginning his breakdown with a line that set the mood. His words went beyond a simple recap of the fight. They defined the night as a moment of history.
Terence "Bud" Crawford makes history. I mean, that's the only way I can really start out this video. A lot to unpack on an amazing performance by Terence Crawford. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but really it was about Bud Crawford. It was about what he accomplished tonight, and it was about, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and the class that he showed all throughout the preparation, and just flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a...
He emphasized the points that truly mattered: Crawford's accomplishment and the calm way he presented himself. It wasn't about showmanship or unnecessary drama. It was about control, discipline, and dominance. Paulie described a fighter who has quietly put together one of the most complete records in boxing. A career defined not only by victories, but by leaving opponents with almost nothing to claim. He then dug deeper, focusing on the strategy behind it all. His breakdown wasn't only about what Crawford executed, but about the intelligence with which he carried it out.
Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved Crawford, you know. There were some good body shots Canelo was throwing, but Crawford started countering those very, very well. I think the key point started coming once after the first round. Crawford shifted a lot and moved a lot. I wanted to just kind of see where Canelo's power was at. He caught a couple of shots on the gloves, and I think there came a point in the first 1 or 2 rounds where Crawford said, this guy's not as strong as I thought, because he started seeing Crawford hold his ground more and more, and he started seeing Crawford, you know, doing a lot of catching.
Every adjustment and every counter reflected a fighter fully in command. Paulie noted that even when Canelo searched for openings, Crawford neutralized his shots with perfect timing and accuracy. It was boxing intelligence, not merely enduring the fight. He was systematically breaking his opponent down with smart execution from the opening bell. Paulie then shifted attention to Crawford's sharpness, explaining how that edge gradually forced frustration into Canelo's approach.
To do a lot of catching and shooting, you've got to be willing to take the shot, even if you're going to block it. If a guy's a big puncher, even blocking it can be uncomfortable. And Crawford started getting comfortable catching and shooting, especially when Canelo tried to go to the body. Crawford was catching the shots and coming back with the counters. Sharp shots. Crawford never loaded up, but he was sharp the whole night. Sharp with jabs, sharp with the counters, some well-placed body shots as well. Canelo landed here and there. I thought Canelo got really frustrated. I felt that headbutt was a little bit more than accidental, to tell you the truth, when he cut Crawford. I thought that was a little bit more of frustration, because the headbutt may have been accidental, but then you saw Canelo kind of dig his head in Crawford's face. So I thought there was some frustration from Canelo's perspective, because he ran out of it.
The image was undeniable, Crawford blocking, countering, and landing with precision. It wasn't raw power that defined him, but timing and discipline. Paulie described how Canelo, running out of answers, turned to rough tactics that exposed his frustration and unraveling. Crawford, on the other hand, remained calm and cold, using every exchange as another statement of who held true control. In assessing Canelo's behavior under pressure, Paulie didn't hold back. His analysis was direct, uncompromising, and carried the weight of honesty.
Anytime Canelo has been down in his career, he has not shown an ability to both make an adjustment nor go for it and put his balls on the line. Not saying he's got no heart. Obviously, Canelo's been a very good fighter. I'm just saying there's a reason why the Mexican greats all have criticism for this guy. You know, Marquez, Morales, Barrera, and he's done disrespectful things to them, like not getting, like, block their credentials from his fights and things of that nature, not let them cover fights. This is what they're talking about, dude. Every time this guy is behind, every time this guy needs to put his balls on the line, he just cruises to a decision loss and is content to do it. And then afterwards says, Viva Mexico Cabrones, and his groupies just appease him and clap. These guys come from a different cloth. You know, the Mexican machismo of the old school greats in Mexican boxing is a different level. Not everyone is expected to live up to it, but the Mexican fighters themselves that did live up to it, they expect the new ones to live up to it. So when they don't, naturally they're going to express that. And of course, there's been some criticism from those kind of guys. And I'm not saying Canelo hasn't done some really good things, guys. It's not that. You can criticize a guy and still say he's been a good fighter and all this other stuff. But I think tonight, once again,
the contrast couldn't have been clearer. Crawford rose to the moment when it counted most, while Canelo appeared to fade. Paulie's remarks cut straight to the core of why so many Mexican legends have voiced criticism. It wasn't about dismissing Canelo's accomplishments, but about showing the gap between true greatness and mere comfort. In that final observation, Crawford's resilience stood out brilliantly, while Canelo's shortcomings were exposed. Then Big John Fisher delivered his verdict with the kind of plain, no-nonsense talk that fans appreciate. His words were brief, but they carried undeniable weight.
Boxing masterclass from Terence Crawford. Canelo tried everything, kept coming forward, kept throwing, but as soon as he got him where he wanted him, Terence just got out of trouble and was landing shots as he did it. Unbelievable.
He left no doubt about how one-sided the fight had been. Crawford didn't just win. He dictated every second with poise and skill. Big John's comments highlighted the clear difference in levels between the two fighters in the ring. It wasn't about fortune or chance, it was pure mastery, and to him, that was astonishing. Big John Fisher then added another reflection. This time in straightforward honesty.
I think there was a golfing class there, and I don't know whether Canelo will be able to gap that at his age in life. So, listen, two great warriors, two great champions. Honour to be here. Unbelievable.
He noted the truth that sometimes the gap in skill is simply too wide to close. For Canelo, age and timing may have created a challenge too great to overcome. Yet Big John didn't dismiss the contest. He acknowledged it for what it was: two champions leaving everything in the ring. His perspective balanced the excitement of Crawford's dominance with the respect owed to a warrior who fell short. Then Johnny Fisher added his own view, breaking down the subtle details that proved decisive. His comments showed that Crawford's command extended beyond the physical. It was mental as well.
I thought Crawford, every round he came out and started that round with the first 20-30 seconds and made an impression on the judges. And that not only makes an impression on the judges, it sets the tone to the other fighter. They end up in a psychological state where they think they've got to go and chase the rest of the round. And I just think, I was waiting for that turn, what Canelo does, round 6, round 7, to turn the tide of the fight, like he did against Billy Joe or Caleb Plant, but it never happened. And even though Crawford's two weight classes down from him, he didn't look like that. He looked like he was in complete...
He described how Crawford established control from the very first seconds of each round. That early command forced Canelo to pursue a fight that was always out of reach. Johnny pointed out that the turning moment never arrived as it had so often in Canelo's previous bouts. Instead, Crawford appeared a step or two ahead at all times, unaffected by the difference in size. It was dominance presented as rhythm, control hidden within simplicity. Johnny Fisher then followed with an even stronger remark, this time placing Crawford's victory among the great moments in boxing history. His words carried the weight of true recognition.
I said that myself. I've never seen Canelo look that negative with his body language to round 9 to round 12. I've never seen anyone do that to Canelo, and Crawford's proved himself to be a generational great. He's put himself on that Mount Rushmore of boxing, and it's great to see. And you can actually hear the start of the fight, Canelo. By the end, you can hear Crawford.
He highlighted something unusual, Canelo appearing negative, defeated not only on the scorecards but in his body language. That kind of breakdown had never been seen before, and it was Crawford who forced it. Johnny's remarks elevated him to the level of the all-time greats, a once-in-a-generation fighter, now carved into boxing's Mount Rushmore. From the first cheers of Canelo's name to the final echoes of Crawford's, the energy shift told the story of a new ruler. Then came Bill Haney, known for speaking without filters, as he gave his raw perspective on what had unfolded. His words carried the tone of someone who viewed Crawford's greatness as inevitable.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence.
Easy money.
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack, and that whole team, man.
He spoke directly, calling it exactly as he saw it. For Bill, this wasn't just a win. It was domination that looked effortless. He credited Crawford and his team, noting the preparation behind it all. His words carried respect and realism, leaving no room for debate. Bill sealed it with a simple line. He deserves his place for sure. For sure. Short, powerful, and clear, it showed true recognition from someone who knows greatness. In that moment, he validated the night as boxing history. Then Tim Bradley gave his view, bringing the authority of a former champion who had lived it. Interview 16. He explained that Crawford's brilliance wasn't only physical, but also mental. Strategy, timing, and anticipation turned the fight into a chess match only he knew how to play. Tim highlighted the subtle footwork, sharp counters, and ability to read Canelo with ease. It was a display of pure ring IQ at the highest level. His take made it clear, Crawford didn't just fight, he outthought and outclassed Canelo. Then Teddy Atlas stepped in, with his trademark passion and precision, revealing what makes Crawford truly special.
A year out of the ring. I think it was like 13 some odd months out of the ring, okay?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. 2 weight classes. Think about that.
Yep.
He had surgery early at the beginning of the year. Surgery on the shoulder surgery, right? Not sure which one. And to come in here and to put on that type of performance against Canelo that actually is coming off a performance, right? You expected Canelo to be sharp. He was sharp. However, what Crawford did was he took the air out of the ball.
Yep.
He used this. That's what boxing's about, people. It's about this. Strategy. That's what he had. He used his feet. He understood Canelo every single move. Canelo couldn't land any shots on him. He knew what was coming. He knew that the looping right hand was going to come from the southpaw position. So what did he do? Hold the phone. He knew that the hook to the body was going to come. What did he do? Block, and he shot him.
When I set my sights on doing something and I know what I'm capable of, it's not like a surprise to me. It's a surprise to y'all because y'all didn't believe me, you know? But for me, I knew I could do it, and I believed that I could do it. I just needed the opportunity.